Hello beautiful people, it's Derryn here from Art by Derryn, welcoming you to another ArtStart DIY Christmas. Today it's our Coastal Christmas tiered tray minis. We're going to start off with a surfing Santa. I found this one at Spotlight and I took the little hanger off the top of his head, and now I'm just making him a little pair of board shorts which are more in my colour for my dining room. Just folding that up and gluing it down and measuring around for the waist and also for the length there. He's looking a bit of a butt crack Santa there, but I do repair that in a minute. So just gluing that around the waist and then leaving enough to fold down to make a smooth edge for the gusset, and just popping a bit of glue there in the middle to join the shorts in inverted commas as they are. Noticing that waistband looking a little messy. I'm going to make a waistband in a minute, but first we'll do the hat, and here I've just folded one edge and measured around again and then folded the edges down, and it kind of scrunches up on its own. You'll see here in a second that it just gluing it around the pom-pom there on the end and gluing that seam together, that you sort of leave the seam on top so you can access it. But there we go, there's surfing Santa. Now making that waistband. If you just fold fabric into the middle like I did there and then fold it in half, you'll have two neat edges. I'm just gluing that with the hot glue around the middle again. Bye bye butt crack Santa. And I'm going to pop a little snowflake on just to make him look a little bit more finished. Now here I leave the green board that he was on. It's kind of like a felt board. I wasn't quite sure how he was joined in the feet, so just playing with some shells here. I thought they had that really great like wave look. Okay, so I decided I didn't like how it looked on here. I'm not sure how they've attached. I think it's hot glue. Get him off without destroying him. Okay, I destroyed one foot a little bit. So I'm going to correct that. Come off. Oh, no, it's actually pulled the coating off. Okay. Okay, that's good. All that off. I'm gonna have him like standing up like that with his board, or surfing on it. I think I'm gonna put some stickers. Yeah, these came with my combi. Peace, love, man. Let's give him. He can be a peaceful Santa. What about that? Okay. Now, the idea would be to absolutely hold him. This is happening. Too much glue, I think. And then what I want to do is use these shells to represent the waves. So there, like that. Just dropped one. Come on, Santa, stand up. You can do it. Come on. That's your boy. Good boy, Santa. He's not butt crack Santa anymore. Not where you were looking before. Without that little waistband on top. Okay, I'm just pulling off the excess glue here. it's cooled down enough to touch it. I'm using my glue gun on the cooler setting as well. I really only need the hot setting for wood, but even then you can get away with the cooler setting too. The hot setting's just dangerous. Every time I use it I burn my fingers very badly. Oh my god, he's standing up. Alright, woohoo! Go for it, Santa. Come on, Santa, stand up. Here's our Santa on the tray. I did end up putting a little wood slice underneath just to keep those shells on there firmly, and so I can lift it up and pack it easier as well. Now we're on to our Driftwood Anchor. This driftwood is the stuff that I got from Papyrus. Get a big bag full of it. I was lucky to have these two pieces that had this kind of U shape. If you don't have that kind of shape with yours, you can just add two little pieces onto the bottom of it to form that kind of U shape. Just really fiddling around with what goes together and gluing it together with hot glue. I've just got that little top piece on there at the side that I want to drill a hole in that, and I split it, so I have to glue it back together again. And I don't really like that joint that's right there, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the thicker jute twine from Spotlight to the top, and add this little primitive sort of star shape just to the end of it, just to finish off the rope. And then I add the twine there around that join that I had. So if you had any joins, you can just easily wrap that twine around to cover them up. It makes it look a little more finished. And now we're going to make our little beach sign. I start off here with a stencil from Spotlight. It was this little seagull stencil. I'm just using a paint stick and some moulding paste. If you've never used moulding paste before, it's a little like spac filler or, you know, joint compound. But moulding paste is archival, which means it will last basically forever. So with this little one, I've allowed that to dry, and now I'm just using that chalk paint again from Kmart, and you can see I'm just going straight over the top of the moulding paste, and it will act like a resist. And you'll see that in just 1 second when I grab my baby wipe and show you this very easy way of painting so you don't make a mess. Pop my brush in water as always, and just very lightly touch the surface. So you see I'm removing the paint from the bird, but not the background. I do need to touch it up in a couple of places, and I do decide that I want to put a little bit more texture into the bird, so I'll add another coat of the blue chalk paint. I quite like this one. It's the Anchor one from Kmart. It's a good colour. It's not as thick as the folk art chalk paints, but I really do enjoy this colour. So you see I'm just using it in just a few places to get more of a white highlights, and then leave some blue there just to give a little bit of texture to the bird. And I'll see this close up in a second. There we go. You can see that texture on the bird. Great way of painting and using a resist with the moulding paste. Adding a little bit of paint there around the corners, and I do end up painting the back as well. Just really trying to get those white highlights. Now I've let that dry, and I've grabbed these stamps. I bought these up in Port Douglas one year, but I think they're available on Amazon. These little, I think they're like American Typewriter is the font. Anyway, I really enjoy them. I'm just enjoying so much today. Now here's where I decided to put this little sign onto a doil mounted on a wooden block. So what I firstly do there is measure the size of the doil to my drill bit so that I can get the right size drill bit in there. And then I mark the center by doing a little cross from the diagonals to find the exact center of that, and drill the hole and pop in a bit of hot glue to mount that dowel. Now if I just mounted this with the pole in the middle, no problem. Well, because I mounted it to the side like that, I've got to counterweight the bottom, otherwise it'd just fall over. So I've got one of these resin starfish and a couple of shells. I think, yeah, I put some rope on this as well to kind of make it look like a pier. That thick rope again, twine from Spotlight. I put a little, I think I put like 2 or 3 runs of it along. Yeah, no, just 2. Oh no, 3. I did 3. And then I put a little bit around the top of the sign as well. Just using the hot glue there. And here I'm just using a flame to burn off the extra fuzz from that sign. Oh, sorry, from the rope. Now we're going to make our seahorse standing on a little coral reef. So I got this ornament from Big W. They had quite a range of coastal kind of ornaments if you're looking for them. And I just gave it a quick sort of very loose coat of, because it was very gold. Oh, let's start again. I can't think of what it's called. It's chalk paint. There we go. Brain's working. Put it into gear, Derryn. Okay, let's go. So what are we doing here? Put a little bit of chalk paint on our seahorse. A little bit of foam there to act as a reservoir for our artificial plants. These I got from Amazon, and then I'm covering that all up with a little bit of moss to sort of cover up the glue. Now for our 5th DIY, it's this little shell ornament, really simple, just a piece of driftwood and a shell from Amazon, popping a little bit of the florist foam into the opening there so that the fur will stand up, that sort of fir pine tree stuff. And we've also got the little flower there from the gum nuts. So there's the top layer of our coastal tiered tray. Tell me, what do you think of it? Do you love Santa as much as I do? He's so cute. Alright then, I'll see you next time where we'll finish off the tray, we'll do the combi, we'll make some little houses. I hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Bye for now.